Hello, everyone. Hello, ladies. Hello, goddesses. Look at you two. Hello.
Hi. Hello,
Good
everyone.
morning.
Hi, John. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello,
Good
the
afternoon.
world.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
good afternoon, good evening. It's 11 a.m.
And good night.
here. Yeah, and good night. It's 11
Yeah.
a.m. on the East Coast. Rebecca, 4 p.m. probably in the UK.
Yeah.
And
And
8
Anita,
a.m.
up and early and sunshine at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Yes.
Anita's a morning person. You've been up since like 5, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
This
Well,
is
good
where
morning,
I
everyone.
admit. Yeah, this is where I admit I'm not exactly a morning person.
You wouldn't know it though, Anita.
No.
Yeah, you look great.
Oh, thank you. You guys look great too. I know
No.
I was. Yeah, I was up at 7.
I'm just a big fan of the fluorescent lights, John. Tell me about them.
Oh, do you like? It's really my aura. I can project it no matter where I want because as a soul, you have many abilities. So good morning, everyone. That's just special light. I'm a blue person, actually. Not I'm feeling blue, but blue. I think I do a lot with color too, and I think I tell people look at the colors that you're wearing, that are in your house, that are around you, and I think when you look at color, people never look at it. Once you understand colors, you never look at them the same way again. So,
That's
but.
true.
Happy TGI, everybody. People are like, who's this? Who are they? What are they doing? We're just coming on here. I have a little chat with you, make an announcement. But come on in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome. And with me is Rebecca Campbell from the UK, Hay House author. I met her more officially in Tampa last couple of months ago. I was going to say last year. And then, of course, Anita Moorjani. So why don't we introduce ourselves for some people who may not know who we are, which is possible. So let's start with, I'm going to go to my right, if that's how I'm looking at it. We'll start with Anita. How are you, Anita? Good morning and happy Friday, TGIF, Anita.
Thank you, and happy Friday to you. And I'm well, thank you. And by the way, I wore blue for you today, John, because the last time I didn't wear blue, John said, "Why aren't you wearing blue?" So here I am. Although I know that was for a different event. However, I wore blue for John because I know he loves blue. So I'm Anita Moorjani, and for anyone who doesn't know me, I wrote the book "Dying to Be Me," which chronicles my journey through cancer. And at the end, and I had a near-death experience because I had end-stage lymphoma. I was supposed to die. I was in my final hours of life. Excuse me. And but I didn't die. So even though the doctors had said that these were my final hours, my organs shut down, I entered into a near-death experience. I found my purpose. I understood why I had cancer, and I realized it wasn't my time to die. And I came back, and here I am, 17 years later, still here. So that was Dying to Be Me. Wayne Dyer discovered my story, and he's the one that encouraged me to write a book, which I call Dying to Be Me. And the rest is history. Once Wayne Dyer discovered it, he pulled me into the Hay House circuit. He had me tour with him for 4 years until he passed. And here I am working alongside other amazing speakers and authors like John Holland and Rebecca Campbell.
Yeah. I remember seeing you on PBS and with Wayne, as you know, and on stage. You and I worked at Omega together a few times. We did cruises, and I mean, I love that. And then there's the lovely Rebecca Campbell, who certain grace about you too, Rebecca, that I love. And you really do. I've seen your work. I've read it. You do really walk your talk, darling. So why don't you tell some people about you?
Thank you. So I am my work is really all about connecting to the soul, which I see as the voice of your intuition. I think for me, it's all about having the direct experience of the sacred rather than seeing it outside of you, or as a place to kind of like strive towards, I had my first awakening as a teenager, where I had some really weird left field stuff happen to me, which really began when I started connecting to spirits of children who'd passed over, and then would then meet their mothers and parents. And so, yeah, wasn't raised particularly spiritual, but yeah, had these experiences that it was like, what is happening? And so, to be honest, like it was really difficult for me to navigate because it was like there was really no one in my life that I could kind of connect with or who would understand it. And so that's been a big part of my journey and what I help other people with as well, of like gathering up the courage to trust the awakening journey and trust the journey of the soul, even if it scares you, especially if it scares you, even if it doesn't make sense. And so to really find a way to just kind of like develop that deep relationship and live with it each day rather than it being like this separate double life.
And I really, what Anita said and what you said, Rebecca, also, and I'll introduce myself in a second too. Anita met Wayne Dyer. I met one person. I believe we all have a blueprint that we're born with. It's something that we follow. Sometimes we go from A to B. Other times we meander way off it. We can, that by choice, we don't listen to our soul, or also some people are our detours. They may take us away from it. But I also believe that there are certain people in your life, and this goes to Wayne Dyer, maybe you too, Rebecca, that are placed there. That is the next match. So don't you feel that there were certain people, Anita, if you think back, not every person, but the key people, and I think it's like, is it a contract? Is it, I don't know, but there are certain people that when I followed my soul, and I love that, Rebecca, when you say intuition is the language of the soul, and I love you saying the whispers of your soul, because everyone thinks, you know, when I started doing mediumship in England, Rebecca, you know this, they said, before you start connecting to spirits and soul on the other side, get to know your own soul first. And they teach you to sit in the power of your own soul. So when I started mediumship and the training, I started learning all about the soul, so much more. And I wrote Power of the Soul, Rebecca, Power of the Soul. You were probably a child, 2007, right? And it's some of the same, but different. So I love the way you work. Rebecca, was there someone placed in your path that you followed that took you to the next level?
Such a great question. And I think I totally agree. We all have these people who are carefully placed along the way. There was a couple. The first mother that I was mentioning before was a big part of my path. We I kind of call her, like, we would go to workshops together. I actually went to a Hay House event with her. And I remember seeing probably you on stage, John, but I know like loads of Hay House authors were there. And I remember her leaning into my ear and saying, that'll be you up there one day. And I'd never even thought of that, you know, and and so she was definitely an important person. Another one, like I'd moved, because I grew up in Australia, I moved over to London. And in my 20s, I knew what my call was. I just was gathering up the courage, and I'd been training lots in the mystic arts. And I was like really calling in like teachers who could help me like really embody and integrate it all, rather than it being just like this kind of stuff I'm learning over here. Like, how can I properly live it? And one of my teachers in my 20s was Sonia Choquette, who I know you guys know.
Trust your vibes.
Yeah, exactly. And so Sonia was a really big role model and helper on my journey, for sure, through my 20s, from my early 20s on.
What I love about Sonia is the way she was raised. She had a mother that encouraged this. I was from a family, I was born in an Irish Italian Catholic family, grew up in the, you know, basically the streets of Boston, and I had no one else to talk to also, but I always knew everyone that there was something different. My family knew there was something different from me. Out of the five of us, I was attracted to, I'm John Holland, by the way, the host author. I've been in a medium and a spiritual teacher. I was always drawn to magic, spirit, religious movies, philosophy, chemistry. While my brothers, you know, anything that had to do with magic on TV, Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, the Ten Commandments, you know, the party, and anything like that, I was always drawn to. Not normal for a normal little boy, right? So I wasn't playing soccer or baseball with my brothers, and my dad used to say to my mother, something's wrong with your son. So now I'm just her son. All right.
Wow.
So, and I didn't have that support, just like it seems like none of us did, really, right? But we knew
or understanding.
Yeah, we knew something was there. And then an automobile accident put me on a path. Everyone thinks, Rebecca and Anita, that this accent that I had, which I talked about in Born Knowing, it didn't make me psychic. It already was. It was my wake up call. And I believe that we all get them. Anita, I think we know what yours is. She died. Okay. Rebecca, maybe you had a wake up call also, Yeah. So that's what, once I did that, I started getting my understanding about chakras, aura, psychic ability. Why is this happening to me? I got into the mechanics of our spiritual abilities, the mechanics, not to, and I needed to know, why is this happening? How is it happening? Can we turn it on? Can we turn it off? Which led me from the psychic work to mediumship to the soul. So really, and the people that came into my life, I left, I stayed in England for 2 years. And what brought me over there was I stepped on a person's foot just after I started studying mediumship books, because mediumship started happening. I step on somebody's foot. Where are they from? England. And that would be my colleague and friend, Simon, invited me over to Bristol, and then Gordon Smith, and one thing after the other, guys. Not always easy, because Rebecca and Anita, everyone thinks that following your spiritual path should be flowing, should be easy. Not necessarily, guys. Okay, right. It is discipline, guys, and I'm a big practice of this. Anita is, and so are you, Rebecca. Is a spiritual practice every day, right? A spiritual practice, and I know, Rebecca, you have one. Anita, you must do something for yourself that keeps you tapped in every single day. Mine is it was walking my dog, but I still go to the park. I still do intuitive walks in nature. How about you, Rebecca? What do you have a specific spiritual practice? And this is some advice for you guys also, because the outside world, there's a lot happening, guys, right? There's a lot happening. A lot of institutions are unstable, from government to finances to the weather, right? But one thing remains constant that doesn't change, that's always been there, is our soul, right? But the outside world tries to pull us away from that. What do you do, Rebecca, to remind you every day?
I've gone through different phases where I've always had that discipline. It was this one meditation for about 10 years. And it's like I needed that discipline of the same, rhythm. And then for writing, I do intuitive nature walking. But since I've been a mum, it's so much harder to do the morning practice, because, you tend to wake up with someone screaming at you. So the practice that I've been doing, I've reorientated myself to doing, which is a core practice for me as well, is intuitive writing. Because I find I need to empty a lot more out of my head, because, I think being a mum, your psychic energy is constantly like this. And so it's so much harder to write a book when you have babies. Oh my God. So I'm noticing I have to empty out a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. And that takes discipline too, though, right? You know what? When you might see a speaker, or you might see something on TV, or you're part of a work, then you get that enthusiasm, right? You get all excited, and you're inspired. And then what happens? You kind of slowly pull away. That's the inspiration part, and you're excited. It's the discipline that you got to keep doing this, right? It's doing it every day. Anita, what about you?
I do yoga every morning, regardless. Yes, every single morning I have my little yoga routine, which is part of my discipline. I am pretty disciplined. Now, by nature, I was not a disciplined person, but I have become more disciplined. And it's interesting, because as I've gone on this journey, after the near-death experience, after Wayne Dyer discovered my story, after being on stage and having to travel and do all these things, I realized that if I don't have a discipline myself, my life can be pretty out of control with the travel and the events and the writing and the interviews. So I've had to be really disciplined with generally with things like the exercise, the yoga poses, the connection with spirit, the food I eat. I've become very disciplined with not eating foods that make me feel like I'm losing the connection. And so it's the cleaner I eat, the more connected I feel with soul and source. And so I've had to be more disciplined in so many ways because of the work I do. So it's been an interesting journey for me. It's not easy, but it's worth it. It really is worth it. I love the results. I love the results that I'm seeing. I'm not just talking about physical, but I mean in life in general, the manifestation. But again, it's not easy. You still get the challenges, but you have to look at the challenges as wake-up calls, because I noticed that a lot of us, myself included, the past me included, is that when we get challenges, we think that we start to think negative thoughts like, oh my gosh, am I done? Is this going to kill me? And so, but we have to think in terms of, this is a wake-up call, or ask ourselves, okay,
That's right.
is this an exit point, or is this a wake-up call? And it can be anything from getting fired from a job to getting an illness, or a separation or divorce, or anything like that. Like, is this a point where it's downhill from here, or is this a wake-up call? It's my soul telling me that there is something more that I need to do or let go of or pursue. So I've started to take all these challenges as wake-up calls, and that's actually what's changed my life.
Brilliant. And I think too, when COVID happened, every spiritual tool I had, everything that I've ever learned, everything I've written, everything that I went out the window. Went out the window. And like everybody, there's panic, there was worry. But I think all three of us and many of our colleagues and some of you who are watching, if you have a question, guys, you can pop it in here. You want to ask us, the lovely angel in the background, we'll show it there if it's something that we're talking about. I think that oh God, what was I just saying? What was I saying?
You said COVID,
Yes, COVID
everything went out the window.
This has to do with spiritual practice, but because we have, and I heard a speaker talk about this, a tree goes over in his yard, and one didn't. There was a storm, and then this one, he said, well, why didn't that tree go down? He says, because it has deeper roots. Just like with your spiritual practice, the more you do it, the roots get deeper and deeper. So when you do have something that happens in your life, whether it's a breakup or a job loss or something that's happening in the world, you have those deep roots. Your tree, you are not going to fall over. So because of I had spiritual practice and a belief, guys, okay? Some people never come back to it after a trauma. It took 3 weeks, but I came back. And the more spiritual practice you have every day, the stronger you're going to be connected. And so that person that talks about you, you're not going to let it blow you over. Something happens around you or a breakup, or it won't break you. Always go back to your spiritual practice. Yeah?
Yes, exactly right.
Yep. So I see everybody here too, from all over the place, Guatemala. There's people, someone's talking about Hawaii when something happens in the world, Anita, right? Something big happens in the world. It's like, what do? You could watch something in the news, and I say, keep being the light that you are. You keep light overcomes darkness. What would you say, Rebecca, if something in the world like COVID, or like the woman was asking about the fires in Maui, what would you say, Rebecca, to someone who is?
I mean, this is like the big question of these times, isn't it? And I suppose any time really, but I think it's so easy to go into overwhelm and feel helpless and like, what difference can I possibly make? I think the thing that I'm doing, the question I'm constantly living into is, anytime something like that does happen, like tuning in and being like, what is the most right, helpful action that I can take? Similar to like when you receive intuition, like if there's something so huge, a big change you're being called to make, whatever, you can't possibly like know the end destination every step along the way. And so I think if we all just kind of connect in with our hearts, in with our soul, and being like, how can I help here? What's one practical thing that I can do today? And maybe that's donating money, or maybe that's reaching out to family who's there, or yeah,
because I think what, like you said, Rebecca, some people might say, I'm just one person. What difference can I make? Are you kidding me? One kind act creates a ripple effect. I say this all the time. One kind act creates a ripple effect that reaches farther than you could ever imagine. You do matter. So imagine if everyone was like that. I mean, what we could magnify. And I really do believe in the healing power of prayer and good intentions. Anita, what about you when something happens?
The same sort of thing, healing power of prayer, and also one kind act really has the ripple effect. But also what I tell people is, don't forget to take care of yourself, because all of us, we're all connected. We're all part of the whole. And some of us, especially the people here, the people who are interested in the kind of work that we do, people like our audiences are people who are very, very giving, but they don't know how to receive. And so whenever there is a disaster, whenever there is something, a cause that needs compassion, they're in there, they're helping, they're doing their act of kindness, they're offering their compassion, their empathy, their help, their money, their donations. But if you have disaster after disaster after disaster happening in the world, like you've had COVID, you've had fires, you've had all these things, you've got all these compassionate people just giving of themselves, and they forget about themselves. And so what I want to remind all of you is that the world needs you. The world needs people like you. And because we need you to keep feeding yourselves. We need your light to stay bright. So don't forget to also find your own joy and have fun and love yourself and take care of yourself and nourish yourself. And don't feel selfish doing it, because the world needs your light. Yeah. Exactly. Don't feel guilty doing it, even if other people are suffering, because the world needs your light. So stay bright by feeding yourself.
God, there's a t-shirt. It's a great t-shirt. Okay. How about here? Can we feel the soul inside us with regular practice of meditation? What's the real way of doing meditation? Can we feel the soul? Well, Rebecca, you could. I want to go this.
I mean,
that's
I personally think there's no wrong way. It's just whatever like works best for you. What works best for me is going into deep receiving kind of rest mode. That's best for me, because I can go into overdrive and have quite a busy mind and all that. Just stilling my mind is not the type of meditation that fills me up the most. I tend to lay down when I meditate, which is, I know most people are like, no, you got to have a straight spine and you got to do this and this. I don't do that. I basically go into, how deeply can I rest my body into the earth? And I imagine slowing down to the pace of the earth and being cradled by the earth. Over the years, that's been the one that rejuvenates me the most. But yeah, I think we're all different, and I think we go through different phases as well. So yeah, try a whole lot of different types of meditation, and then just pick one. Don't go into overwhelm being like, oh, I don't want to make the wrong decision. Try a couple for a week and then just say, I'm going to pick one. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. That's the one I'm going to do, and try that for 7 days. And I think the more you show up to the same one, the more rhythm and repetition you get, and the easier it will be to drop in when you're in it.
Yeah, because there was just all kinds of different meditations, and your body will try to stop you, especially if you're not used to it. There's the twitches about this walking meditation. There's looking at saying a mantra. There's looking at a mandala. There's many different ways. But Hermit, always remember, you are a soul that comes with a body, not a body that comes with a soul. So when you say the soul inside us, a piece of it is there. The rest of it is here. The bigger part of you is around us. It's not all contained in here, and I think it's multidimensional. And we'll be talking about that too at the conference that we're doing. And one practice that I like to do, that I'd like to lead people with too, is and Rebecca, you being a mother, so of course you're going to sink into that ground, right, into the earth. But when you just wake up, right, this is true. You're coming from that beautiful slumber, that place that maybe you had a dream. And you have to realize your spirit was over on the other side too, rejuvenating. You're still connected to the other side, and it's rejuvenating there, and also your body. But you just come from that place, and then some people have this right beside their bed. And I know it can be an alarm. If it is beside your bed, try to have a soft alarm. But I don't sleep with the phone in my room. Too many people will wake up and they'll just grab the phone and they'll start scrolling Instagram, which I love. Okay, Facebook or texting or whatever. So from that beautiful place, you're throwing yourself into the physical world, and you haven't even touched the floor yet, guys. So there's a lot of stuff on here. So I say, do this, okay? And this is for this gentleman who asked about the soul. Here's one tip. All right, always acknowledge, I am soul. You are soul. Just you can center yourself by saying it. But before you reach for the phone, I say this: put your hands on your heart and just say, I am a soul. Know who you are first. Project an intention into the day: peace, love, abundance, prosperity. Before it projected into the day, because it's a good vibe. So I always say, before you reach for your outer technology, reach for your inner technology. You like that? And I always say that, John Holland, copyright. It came to me one day. It was given. Before you reach for your outer technology, just tap in and just to honor your soul first, right? Anita, what would you say,
Yes.
a practical tip before, for everyone who is listening, to start the day? Yours is yoga.
Yes. So
To connect.
So to connect, yeah, mine is yoga to connect. But the other thing I just want to say also, just to add to what you're saying, when I did cross over to the other side, I realized that our physical bodies are just the tip of the iceberg. The soul is the much greater part of us. And we're
That's
conditioned to believe that the physical body is the main show, but it's not. The soul is what's actually driving the show. And the soul is huge. It's humongous, it's powerful, it's all of those things. So for me, when I do the yoga, it is about connecting with the soul. It's about connecting with that part of me that I can't physically see, that is actually so much more powerful, bigger, and greater than my physical body. And that's what I want people to know. I want you to know that who you really are is far greater than that physical body. And it has this huge outreach that touches other people. It touches other people's souls. And that's how telepathy and intuition and all that works. But just trust it. You have this part of you that is so much bigger than who you think you are.
I can't wait to meet. We will. There should be. Unfortunately, there's a fourth speaker here too, Shelley Carr. We have the continuity of the soul. We have soul survival, tapping into the soul, past lives, and there's a lovely woman at Omega. She called me, and I used to do a thing called Soul Survival with Brian Weiss, Raymond Moody, sometimes Suzanne Northrup or Alberto Villado, Joan Borisenko. There was always 4 speakers about the continuity and the power of the soul. And so it was a great weekend. So Carol at Omega said, how do you think about, because it's been a number of years, how do you feel about bringing back Soul Survival? And I said, fine. And I said, I think I know exactly who could teach it with us or teach it with me. So that's what we're doing, Soul Survival, September 8th through the 10th. But it's changed up a little. It's Soul Survival, the joy within, learning how to tap into the soul. Where is the soul? Your soul purpose, your soul gifts, bringing them forward. Anita talking about the other side. And I love, Anita, that you say you don't have to die to know the wisdom and what she learned, those important lessons that helps us here as a soul living now. And also Shelley Carr will be doing past life regressions to help people with their past traumas. And to also, what I love, Rebecca and Anita, with Shelley, is she will be bringing, to go to a past life, to see the gifts, talents, and abilities you had there, to bring them forward. Maybe some people may already know what you're born with. You could play music, art, creativity, whatever. So doing that. So between the past life regression, Anita talking about the other side, Rebecca listening to the whispers of your soul and how to tap in. And I'm going to teach soul senses, which is a psychic ability, because we're powerful as souls. We forget it. It's not just this mist that hangs in heaven, right? There's power to our soul, right? There's abilities, there's talents, there's a blueprint, there's purpose. I'm getting so excited about this. And at the end, I'll end with the mediumship demonstration, using my gift, my ability to share with others, because that's what I think it is. Once you find your purpose, like, for you too, and for Shelley, and you share it with others, I feel like that's a big part of us doing what we're here, what we're meant to do here. And I really believe this, each and every one of us, if you're here watching this, which you are, we're all born with that seed of that's that talent, that ability. So you do matter, everyone. So let us help you tap into that. So the 4 of us, Soul Survival, September 8th through the 10th in Rhinebeck, New York. And they still have time. There it is. Anita Morjani, John Hall, Rebecca Campbell, and Shelley Carr, who was recommended by Brian Weiss, Omega. I can't wait to meet her. I wish she could be on here today, but she is busy working. Yeah, right. So I'm looking forward to it. And Rebecca, just before, and Anita, in a few words or whatever, okay, what will you be doing at Omega? Or do you just go with the flow and see? What are you going to be doing, Anita, at Omega?
So I do tend to feel out the audience, but but my intention is to take the audience on a little journey. So first of all, I will, of course, share my story. I will share some of the most important lessons I learned on the other side, which we don't get taught in this life. and I don't understand why I had to die to learn them. I think this is something that should be taught to everybody, from the time they're in school. So I will share all those lessons. And then I hope to take you all on a little journey, probably for 20 to 30 minutes, where you can get a glimpse of what I experienced. And so it'll be a deep meditative journey where I will speak and just guide you through the journey, and where you can receive some insights from the other side. Because for me, being on the other side, having that near-death experience gave me a tremendous amount of information, clarity, insights, and that's what I would love to try and recreate for you.
Rebecca?
Amazing. Well, look, I'm the last speaker on the last day.
Yay!
And so I'm sensing that the main, I'm going to be bringing it all together. My main intention is to connect you with the wisdom of why you chose to come. So the part of you that chose to be here in this life, in this body, in this planet at this time, and to properly, directly experience that and receive clear guidance on how you can step more into your gifts, how you can live like your soul is leading you every step of every day. And yeah, I sense that a big part of it's going to be all of the amazing insights that everyone will have gotten from all of the speakers, how we're being called to embody it and integrate it. Because I know sometimes when you go to these amazing events like this, it's just like, oh my gosh, so much inspiration. My life has changed, but what's the one thing that you can take away to properly integrate it? Because all the intuition and insights in the world are pointless unless we act on them. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be bringing, I think.
That's brilliant. Yeah, with Anita Moorjani, she started off, and then Shelley will do the past life regressions, and then there she is right there, lovely. And I will talk about soul sensors and how to improve your ability so you can communicate not just with people on the other side, because of course that's my part, is helping you there, but how to, if you know what your soul sensors are, what your psychic strength is, it helps you with the people here, your job, your career. You are soul living here. But let us share that with you. And Shelley, taking people to past lives, to heal some trauma in your life, to get your gifts, talents, ability. I'm excited. And a Q&A at the end. And I don't want people to, like, Omega's beautiful, very peaceful. It's out in the woods, not in the woods. It's okay. It is structure. I've never been there, but I want people to know that if you've never been there and you're like, I never travel alone, I don't know, you're going to meet friends there, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. We're part of each other's lectures. I know I'm going to be watching all of them. I'll have Laura Worcester there helping us also, who's lovely, who's in the background now, who's bringing this all up. All you need to do, everyone, is go to johnholland.com. You'll see this logo, RebeccaCampbell.com, AnitaMoorjani.com, and Shelley Kaehr, KAEHR.com. It's all there. Or go to eomega.org. And I have to thank you ladies for being up so early, Anita and Rebecca, for you taking time from the baby in beautiful Glastonbury, where she lives. And I'll always have this affinity with England. And I look forward to September 8th through the 10th, Soul Survival, Awakening the Joy Within. And I'm so excited. I wish we could just go tomorrow. All right.
Yay,
But
I know.
Yeah, okay.
I've been so excited since you invited me, John. Thanks for just creating this thing. And I can't wait to meet you, Anita. We've never met in person. It's going to be amazing all being in the room together.
And how lucky am I as a guy, right? I'm surrounded by all weekend, all right? So that's so, like I said, everyone, Soul Survival, September 8th through the 10th, Awakening the Joy Within. I'm very excited. There's still time to go. There's still time to sign up. Go there, look at it. It gives a breakdown of what we're doing. And I say this, today, do one kind act, because it will create a ripple effect that reaches farther than you could ever imagine. And don't forget, before you reach for your outer technology, reach for your inner technology. Rebecca Campbell, I love you. Love your oracles, Oracle deck, Starseed, and your book, Rise, Sister, Rise. And Anita, Dying to Be Me. That's just one of your many books. Also, and these are two authentic people. Everyone living authentic lives and living as a soul-led life. That's the whole important thing about Soul Survival Weekend. This is John Hall, and I sound like I'm talking on Hay House Radio people. All right. And Danny Moorjani, who's in the background too. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day, everyone. And remember, you do matter, and you are the light. You are the light. Okay, and keep your spiritual practice or begin one, guys. It'll ground you. All right. God bless, Rebecca, Anita. I'll see you.
Thank
Saturday
you.
at
Can't
your
wait.
event. Bye,
Can't
everyone.
wait. So
Bye.
excited. Bye, guys.